So,
Hello, party people.
oh hey,
Hi.
Oh, hey, hello.
hi.
We are in for a treat today. It is the first fourth watch for our Sunday friends. For those of you that don't know, fourth watch is like our chance to ask players questions, ask the DM questions, try to like get as much lore as you can. Like that's really the whole point of this is like ask those good questions. So feel free to throw questions in the chat as we go. I will try to catch as many as I can. We have a lot already lined up that people pre-submitted in our Discord. If you want to come check us out there, you're free to do so. If I can, yeah. So let's go ahead and go. Oh, I'm Mindy. You can find me on Twitter, MKY1713. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. Let's go ahead and go around and do introductions. Alex, can we start with you? No? Yes?
Yes, we can. Sorry, I was
Thank
muted. Hi, all. I'm Alex. I play Kiri on this stream, and I'm not really sure what else I should introduce about myself. But hi, you can find me on Twitter at AxolotlCure. I swear I've done this before, but I'm drawing a blank, and that's all I got.
Ren.
Oh hi, I'm Ren, and when we play Sunday Friends, I am Deborah Thistlebrook. You can find me on the Twitter at Thorny Dryad, which is apparently right under my name, just like it says right there. I'm pointing at it on the TV that's off screen, but yes. I don't know. I guess I'm done.
Carlos.
Hi, I'm Carlos. On Sunday Friends, I play half of the dynamic duo of the Evertree Grove, Kendall. And you can find me on Twitter at Sombrero.
Hi, I'm Camille. I'm normally the dungeon master of this fine show. Eris is missing today, which is part of the reason why we're doing this fourth watch, hosted by our beloved Mindy.
So before we jump into all of the Camille, you didn't like.
Oh, you want me to do the
Oh, I mean that
sponsor
too.
now?
I was waiting for you to do your like Twitter stuff. And,
Oh,
like,
you can find me on
I mean,
Twitter.
it's on there, though.
It's right there. Please give a. This could not be possible. Well, it probably would be, but it sounds cool to say that. Without our sponsors, Campaign Coins. I think it's just one singular sponsor. Campaign Coins. Thank you, Campaign Coins. You're amazing. We love you. Be on the lookout for some cool stuff coming from them very soon.
They're pretty great. They're the people with the meeples. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into this. Some of these questions are kind of more for like light and giggles. So let's start here. What so far has been your favorite moment for your character? Or no, let's start there. This is a branching question. So we'll start there and we will branch from there. Anyone can start.
I think it'd be easier if you just chose somebody.
Juan Carlos, you
Thanks
spoke
for
up.
volunteering.
Oh, darn. Okay. Favorite moment for my character. Jeez, I was trying to buy myself some time to think.
I love it when people talk. Because it to me as the teacher, it sounds like, oh, you want to share.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with getting my cards read by Sura. I think
That was a good.
I think the whole Kendall's nightmare into feeling lonely and then going to go try to find some answers without anybody around. I think that was my favorite part so far. Yeah, it kind
was
of
good.
yeah.
Well, and it led to some really exciting things after. So, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Which is funny because I know that Camille had asked us before, you know, what are you interested in and stuff, and romance was definitely at the bottom of the list, and then it ended up happening right away almost.
You wound me. All right, Ren, I'll pick on you.
Oh, my favorite thing that's happened so far. Um, I gotta say, Devereaux getting the chance to ride a wolf, not once, but twice, is really awesome. Um, but if we're going with story-wise, I think my favorite event we've seen so far was when we found the giant's temple, and just that act of exploring that mystical ruin with their new friends was probably my favorite portion so far, because it just was something far beyond the realm of what Devereaux's already experienced. And they got to solve some puzzles the whole time too, which was
That was
fun.
a lot of puzzles.
Also, anytime Camille remembers I don't have dark vision is amazing.
All right, Alex.
My favorite. I have a lot of favorites, but I won't subject you to all of that right now. I think my favorite and most recent memory was failing the shit out of that investigation role, and that turning into like a big character moment. Like, because like I forgot where I was talking about it, but like I, as a person, when I failed that investigation role, like my goblin like player brain was like, the loot, no, I've lost it. But like then, like Camille gave me like an actual like character thing of the line of stuff. I'm like, oh no, this is so much better. But yeah, anyway, it was just a great character building thing that was unexpected. And turned out great. Also, I got to fucking change colors, and I got new art for that and everything. It was so rad. I love it.
Yes. That art is amazing.
It's so good. And she did that for free, by the way. She's like, "Oh no, I'll do it. It's
Did she
fine."
oh
I was
my
like,
God.
I was like, "How much would it cost for me to get?" Because I guess she likes Eladrins, and so
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, so is there a way to tag artists in the chat? Is that a thing?
I'll do
Is that
art.
a command we have? Oh, I was right. I should have trusted myself. All right. So, Camille, we're going to start with you for this next question. It's a very similar vibe. What's your favorite moment for another character? And I'm going to swing back around to everybody. So I'm starting with you, Camille. It can be little things. It can be little.
Some of my favorite
Quips.
moments for Dev are always gonna be when they're a brat. I love bratty Devereaux. It makes me so happy. It's just. I was just to say, it's so much fun, and it adds such a dynamic to this group. That's definitely no one in this group is bratty at all.
Dev helping collect the firewood. I mean, you are helping. They were helping. They just
Very helpful.
Yes, of course. I'm so sorry.
Jeez.
My apologies.
This is a little bit more of a player thing, but anytime that Alex responds to my prompts, I love the way that they respond with Curie to prompts like the investigation role. I think that I have fun leaning on Alex for those kinds of things. So I know that's more of a player thing, but it's fine. Definitely for Juan Carlos or for Kendall, the spell effects. Those are really cool, and I love getting to see those come out. And for Salix, oh my god, her turning into a wolf and smelling the room that her brother had just had sex in. Holy fuck. Ooh, that was so good. Ah!
That's one word for it.
That's a brand new sentence right there. No one has ever said that in the history of the world before today.
Someone be sure to screen cap that web capture.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm going to go reverse order this time. So, Alex, favorite moments for other characters?
One for
you
each.
can share. You can do one for each, or you can just pick one for
Okay.
a character. We got
All right. Off the top of my head, I
Favorite
liked
moments.
seeing Kendall get like real ragey in response to Sura getting kidnapped. That's just a trope I really like when the hero gets like just overwhelmed with like just anger and goes into rage mode. So seeing that happen, especially with someone like Kendall, who's probably one of the happier people in the group, was just like a lot of fun. Like it was just rad. Let's see, there was that. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
that's good.
I'll leave it with that. I'll leave it with one.
Leave it with one. That's fine. All right, Ren.
Oh, geez, so much pressure. Oof. You know, quite frankly, some of my favorite moments are when Kiri face steps into a fucking swarm of butterflies. I absolutely love that. Every time it happens. And I know it's not really like story or anything really huge, but I just love that mental image of them face stepping and just swarm of butterflies. Yeah. Are we just doing one? I mean, one.
It's up to you. You can just do one if you'd like.
I mean, everyone watching, this is me. I'm a disaster. For Kendall, my favorite Kendall moment. You know, I've really liked seeing him learn to reel in his desire to run out on his own, and try and be a little more cognizant of that. Where he's like, "Ooh, I should go check out this portal. No, wait, I should probably ask other people first." I think seeing that's been kind of cool as well. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, Juan Carlos.
So this is kind of a general one, but I like every time Dev doesn't want to do something but ends up doing it anyways. You know, they're always, no, I'm not doing that. And then they're I don't even know what to call it. Their need to not need, but their want to have friends and how much they care about their friends, they end up doing it anyways, and it's this reluctant way of doing it. I think Ren does a good job of playing that. So and I'm a little like biased too, because in the first episode, you know, in the first session, we had Kendall and Dev peek over a tree into this this clearing with skeletons there, and they're just like, you know. So I think that's really awesome, and I like that. I mean, I have favorite moments for everybody, but that was kind of my first experience with the group, and I knew I was gonna have fun.
All right. I'm going to ask some more character-specific questions for just a second. So, Ren, what does Dev have written in their journal? Are there any sketches? What are you willing to divulge is in that journal?
Oh, personal questions. Very personal.
Share as much as you would like.
You know, Dev does a lot of writing. Dev does a lot of sketches. It's kind of funny because personally for me, I have a few characters who do a lot of writing and drawing. And one of them in my other games, my Warforged character is a bad artist. Is like legitimately a terrible artist. So they draw the worst little pictures that make no sense. But Dev is kind of the opposite in my mind, where Dev actually will be able to draw full pictures of what they experience, whether it be corpse flowers or sketches of portal runes or whatever we've come across so far. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a picture of the giant king skeleton somewhere in their notes. But Dev just kind of jots down information about what they've seen, and maybe some little cliff notes to remind them of who did or said what when they were in these places, probably nothing that would make too much sense to other people unless they lived through it with them, but it's more like a memory journal than anything else.
Okay.
Can I jump in and ask a question real quick?
Sure.
When Sentinel was around, Dev was real hesitant to share their journal. Is there a particular reason?
Sentinel's weird.
Okay.
Dev doesn't just
enough.
share their journal with anyone.
But I think it was Kendall asking for the journal.
Because you wanted to show them, didn't you?
Who remembers best?
Oh.
We'll go with that.
All right. So there's a memory journal that may or may not have some things that weird people aren't allowed to see. Weird meaning Sentinel, apparently.
Poor Sentinel.
Well,
I mean, it's
Dev is chronicling their adventures, so they want to make sure that all of their stories don't get spoiled before they have a chance to compile them.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, it's a weird name, kind of like The Situation, you know what I mean?
The Sentinel.
The Sentinel.
Get out.
Okay, so so let's jump back to a whole group kind of thinking. Are there any character, I really like this question. Are there any character concepts on the cutting room floor? Who else might have been on this particular adventure?
I want to know what Alex was thinking.
Yeah, I almost came into this game with 2 different drow characters, because that's my favorite playable race. First one was a drow underdark druid, then I found out we already had a druid. Second one was a drow arcane trickster, then I already found out that we had a ranger, an archer, and a monk. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do an Eladrin, because at that time they had just released the wild magic barbarian.
Yeah.
And like I was looking at I was enamored with the mechanics. They were just rad. And so I was like, as I was building this character, I realized like the story I wanted to tell, it was a paladin story. So I switched in the end to an Eladrin paladin, and I'm really happy with how that turned out.
Eladrin.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, give me a minute. Come back to me. I'll figure it out.
Oh, what are we? Okay. Ren on Carlos, were there other thoughts before Dev and Kendall? The character concepts.
Do you want to go first, Ren, or do you want me to go?
You're already unmuted.
Paladrin. Got it.
There it is. Worth the wait.
It's been a really great 4th watch, everybody. We'll see.
Yeah, so Kendall was nowhere near anything that I first had. I actually had this idea for a gnome warlock's apprentice whose master was I had this backstory I was starting to write that their master was sacrificed to the patron, but this gnome was this happy-go-lucky little gnome with this warlock trying to get them to do all this bad stuff, and they're just like, no, like good cop bad cop. And I think I brought this up when I had my first chat with O4A before we got into doing any streams or anything like that, and that was the one that I was gonna go with. But what happened was when we got all together, I believe Eris either in the group chat or to Camille directly said, I would like to have a sibling. And due to a lot of like stuff in my personal life, I was also looking to play with a sibling, and I think it was Camille who said, hey, would you like to play Eris's brother or sibling? And I said, yeah, let's do it, not knowing what she had in mind. And here she goes, and she goes, I want to do a wood elf druid. And I said, oh, elves aren't I like the weird little gnomes or minotaur. I like the weird characters. So the elf I was just, well, let's do it, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. But I don't want to be a druid. And actually, in the Fates Chosen episode in which they rescue Kendall, I had rolled him as a rogue and planning to go into Arcane Trickster. But because of the whole grove and the druid, I felt that it made more sense to be a ranger that was more with nature, and it just would make more sense to be a ranger. Like a druid who didn't choose to have druidic powers would, in my mind, was a ranger. So that's where we went with.
Awesome.
Yeah. Ren?
So, I didn't really go through too many concepts, mostly because I knew I wanted to do something that was fairly straightforward out of the book, with some guidance from the DM. Though there was an early concept in my mind spinning where I was going to muster up the courage to ask to play either a kobold or a goblin, because I love tiny little shit characters. And I think Deb was about as close to that as I could get without actually being one of the monstrous little characters. But I was kind of tossed up between being a dwarf, a halfling, or just a boring old human. And I opted for the halfling because I've never actually played a halfling in 5th. So I thought it would be fun.
They don't have dark vision.
They don't have dark vision, which is
That's what I
hilarious,
heard.
which is half the fun.
That is crazy. And that was a great question. And thank you all so much for sharing some of those ideas that you had and how they kind of evolved into where we are now. Juan Carlos.
Oh.
How much bacon does it take to put Kendall in a coma? Please provide your answer in pounds.
Poundage? Let's see. I mean, when they first found out about bacon or now?
First found out.
Easy. Probably the 1 pound of bacon.
Yeah, probably.
He would eat it too quick. He ate it too. Now I would say maybe 2.
Now is that a pacing thing that he's learned, or
no? It's just
like
his stomach getting used.
Too much salt.
His stomach getting used to the salty pork.
Okay.
That's a lot of grease and fat that a ranger from a full clan of druids isn't used to.
That's fair. I'm proud of your growth in your bacon
Character
consumption.
growth.
Character growth.
Yeah.
Alex, did Kiri want to be anything other than a medic when they were younger? If so, why did it change?
Who asked this?
I
It's
don't
on the
have
Discord,
all-
I think.
It's on the
Okay.
Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw it come
This is a
in.
great question.
It's
Yeah.
a really good question. There's some,
It was Dax.
I would say it sounds like,
Oh, it's okay.
yeah.
I'll preface this with Camille, stop me if I start fucking with your lore. But the short answer is I don't think that if you live underneath an archfey, there's probably a lot of work that like needs to be done. I imagine that to some extent, a lot of the like necessities are just kind of taken care of because like you hit the Feywild. This is that magic shit everywhere. So I think Kiri just kind of wanted to like be happy and live. They didn't really have like a set like career path, and they only got involved in the war because like of people around them. But they didn't intend on being a medic at all.
Did they have any other intentions of being anything else, or is it just
Not really, just like
living life?
Just living around as like an elf in the Feywild.
In the war, though, is there another role that they would have preferred to have in the war? I
I don't think so. I think the Kiri is. I mean, granted, you know, they do kill stuff pretty well, but I do think that they take some intrinsic joy in actually like healing people. So, yeah, I think that the role suits them, and I think they enjoy their place.
So, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper here, if you don't mind me taking over
Sure.
for a sec, Mindy.
Go.
That begs the question: how come they didn't choose cleric?
I was thinking the same thing. Good question, Camille.
I think a couple of things. I personally don't know, like, narratively, the distinction. I don't know what takes your faith and like on a like magic mechanical level. I don't know what takes your faith and puts you on the paladin path versus puts you on the cleric path. But my perception was always that I was coming at this always from the perspective, I don't know if the queen is still out there. So what's driving Kiri isn't even necessarily the queen, it's their faith in the queen.
Yes.
That's a paladin story.
Yes. There we go. That's what I wanted. That's the
All
end of
right.
my question.
Nice.
All right. Which player character gives the best hugs?
The characters?
Mm-hmm.
Kiri.
Probably, but I will counter potentially second place would be Kendall.
Kendall's got experience from an actual bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
It always comes up, doesn't it?
Also, Kendall's like significantly taller, so like the arm radius of the hug is larger. And Kiri is only 4'11", and they don't have like, you know, octopus proportions, so their arms are only so long. I feel like Kendall can give a more encompassing hug.
That is an important factor.
Depends
Also,
on the
Kendall
metric
has
of
a
the
lot.
hug as well. Does it?
Kendall has a lot of practice hugging his sister.
That makes sense too. Experience.
I think Kiri and Kendall need a hug, Alex. So let's put that on the docket.
Let's do it. Yes, absolutely.
You
Next
just sold
session.
me.
Let's go.
You just sold me on that. Kendall, best hugger. That's it. It's canonical.
All right.
And Kendall's gonna say, or I'm gonna say Salix. I'm sure.
So
I will say, if I'm crying, I want a hug from Salix. If I'm happy, I want a hug from Kendall. If I'm in my feels, I want a hug from Kiri. And if I am feeling silly, I'll get a hug from Dev.
Oof.
Because I feel like Dev is like, all right, okay, that's fine.
You know what? I think a
like-
dev hug would be super awesome because they just kind of be hanging.
Like holding a kid.
You know,
I
like
feel like
hanging from your
feel like-
neck, just and just you can twirl around and
I was gonna say I feel like dev hugs have to include some kind of like spinning and dancing
Yes.
while you hug.
would Dev be into that?
You know, probably. I'm gonna go ahead and say probably, with like a heavy leaning to yes.
Well, I got a question for about Dev for you, Ren. So we know that they are looking to get famous. So what level of famous will meet the famous requirement? So like how famous? Like known all across, like what's the level? What are we trying to achieve? What is the pinnacle of fame?
The sad true answer is Dev wants to be famous to the point where mom will be proud.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. Well, then you're already there, right? Maybe? No? Not. Can we get there soon? Because that makes my heart hurt.
You know, it's hard to say, but Dev wants to publish at least one book,
Okay.
and they want it to be sold at their family shop. So that every time they sell it, mom can be proud of the fact that her son or their kid went out and made money for the shop, and that they chronicled their adventure in a way that brings joy to other people, and be a little proud of that. So.
Well, that was a lot of feelings.
No.
Okay. So this is an important question for everyone, said Asker, who I should have written the people that asked. Who's the favorite twin?
Who out of like the favorite implies that somebody has a bias. Whose bias are we looking at? Ours? Their families? With each other? The group?
and whose perception?
Whose perception is this?
I would say, so for the characters, I would say characters, like within the group. But I will
Go ahead.
But I will ask for Juan Carlos what you feel like the perception is within your family.
I'll tell you the perception within the family. That's real fucking easy. It's
I feel
Salix.
like we all know.
Salix is the golden child. Even though
100%,
Kendall
yes.
was the firstborn and great things were expected of him.
Yeah, there's great answers in our character interviews on the Patreon.
You can have more information about this if you subscribe to our $1 a month lore leak. And you can find that on our Patreon. Thank you, Dax. On the internet. Why isn't there a link?
So
yeah, Camille's right. I mean, even if you had asked Kendall, it's always going to be Salix.
and so the next question that I would have the follow-up question I would have for you would then be, how did that affect the dynamic between the two of you?
Between the two of us, I think because of the way that Salix's personality and the way that Eris plays Salix, I think that may be the biggest reason as to why Salix is very doting on her brother. I think she understands that she's the only one who understands Kendall. You know, Kendall, when you look at the Grove, you know, within the Grove, everybody expected Kendall, this, you know, the firstborn of the elders, to follow in the footsteps of being this great archduke, because their mother is so talented and such a great leader, that their firstborn, they expected, oh my God, this is not only going to be the same person or better. And he just ends up disappointing everybody. And it's not because, you know, he's not talented or anything like that. It's because he is very much not interested in what the Grove has to offer him. And then Salix is born a year later, and she's basically this prodigy. And everybody gets what they wanted from this family. So why do they need Kendall? You know, and it's not because they hate Kendall or anything like that. It's just that Salix is giving the Grove what they've been waiting for. So Salix is the only one that kind of understands him and gives Kendall he only gets the attention that he craves from his sister.
And I think that this is really important because now we're seeing Kendall come into his own as something else entirely, something that he would have never been exposed to in the Grove, something that is, frankly, honestly, this isn't much of a spoiler to say, kind of dark. kind of scary, but powerful and frightening. So it's fascinating for us. I think everybody needs to know where they came from and to understand that back home, Kendall is just kind of the fuck off, and Salix is being supported by Kendall. Whereas now, as they get out, I was talking to Eris about this recently, and I don't think that she'll mind if I share this, but I was asking her, I'm like, I want to make sure that we know that Salix's story is about more than her brother. But also, we gotta have context that up until now, it's always been about Salix. It's been, Kendall has been supporting Salix, and Kendall has been loving Salix, and Salix has been doing her thing. And now that they're out in the real world, like I said, Kendall is experiencing these changes and finding this power that is beyond the Grove. And that is really cool, I think.
So there was a question in the chat that kind of a follow-up. So is there any resentment or frustration that Kendall feels from that perception and the response?
Oh, definitely. But not for his sister. More of for himself. The fact that things, because the way that I imagine Kendall is that he is a dum-dum, right? But he acts like it. He's not actually. He's just not interested. He's feeling in this kind of almost cage within the Grove that everybody expected something from him, and that he just so wholeheartely doesn't want it. And if he did want it, everything would be so much easier for him in his life. Salix and Kendall would have stayed in the Grove. They wouldn't have been on this adventure, and he could have been that golden boy. And then Salix would have been born, and then there you go. The dynamic duo would have been just so everything that everybody in the Grove would have wanted. And he almost hates himself for the fact that he doesn't want that. And he feels guilty, especially because his sister cares about him so much, and that she would follow him anywhere. And that is something that he still resents himself for.
Alex, I have a question for you. I have a question for Kiri.
Okay.
Did they join the Winter Court, or were they born into it?
Kiri was not born into the Winter Court. They joined it of their own volition.
That was a very concise response. Okay. Ren. So we picked up with Dev when they were already traveling with Kiri. Can you share any adventures that may have happened before then? Maybe their first adventure once they left home?
It depends on what you consider an adventure, really. Devereaux grew up as a farmhand, if you couldn't guess. And not a very good one. Let's just throw that out there.
I was like, did he carry things one at a time?
Devereaux has a very energetic and enthusiastic sister named Desiree, who is everything their mother wants to be. There's a theme here, actually. And Devereaux's first adventure, if you would, was probably a time where they went on a short trip with their father to explore some of the wilderness with them. And Devereaux's dad is a bit of an explorer and a bit of a scoundrel, as it were. And that was kind of the solidifying moment for Devereaux when they decided they wanted to be someone who went out and didn't just stay on the farm and live a boring life, tending to fields and working a business. So that was probably when they were like less than 10. But they spent a lot of time just exploring the wilderness around their hometown Featherton. And I don't really think they're any epic adventures, but, weekend excursions or evening trips, things like that. As far as before we pick up here, I'm working on some literature with my co-player Alex right now, and who knows when that might be released. But we'll get a glimpse into when Devereaux and Kiri meet.
I'm guessing that
when that was in the adventure.
I'm guessing that might also be available on our Patreon at some point,
Probably.
maybe, hopefully, yeah.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay. Camille, we have a question for you, illustrious DM.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third Horizon Walker we have seen in Sen Maria. Is this because there's a story in there that you particularly want to explore? Coincidence? Something in between?
So, Sentinel was actually supposed to be a player character that ended up not joining the stream, and I felt okay about putting him into the campaign as still because I felt very much responsible for this character's creation, and they were important to the story. Sentinel is a Horizon Walker, and also part of the Divine Covenant. That brings us, our second one is Soren, who it's important to his story to be a Horizon Walker because that's how they met. That's how he met Kiyu. He met Kiyu in the Feywild. He also does work for the Divine Covenant. His father is in the council. The Divine Covenant's job is to maintain order and to protect the Divine Gate. And you need to be able to cross horizons.
So what I'm hearing you say is that maybe there is the possibility of others joining the Covenant that are also Horizon Walkers.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but Sentinel was the one who taught Kendall how to be a Horizon Walker. Now, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all.
It very rarely is.
If you'll also remember, Goat is planning a planar campaign.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
But with
I have a question for you.
What's up, Juan Carlos?
You didn't know I was gonna make a Horizon Walker, and I didn't know anything about all this Horizon Walker stuff.
No.
I just put it in chat. I was gonna go with Beastmaster just so I can have a flying monkey, or at least ask for it.
sounds about right.
That we were gonna name Bacon. But in any case, what would have happened with what's going? I mean, does that change any of the story, or?
Of course it does. Of course it does. Everything you do changes the story.
How dare you?
What was your reaction when I switched? Because I did tell you Beastmaster. I said Beastmaster. I told it to you.
Yeah, you did.
I said, scratch that. Let me go Horizon Walker.
I was
Tired. She's tired.
I'm recovering from the flu. I was excited because then I got this idea about you meeting Sentinel and all of exactly what happened, and my face hurts from smiling right now. And so yeah, I was very happy because I there's a lot going on that it's exciting. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be very good. Did that answer your question, Fellowship of the Tables? There's a delay, so we'll find out if I answered his question later.
Okay. Oh, so I have another question. I have another question for you, Alex. I'm gonna need some clarification here from one of our other delightful peoples. Will Kiri hold my hand while I fall asleep? I'm not sure if this question is for Kendall or for Juan Carlos?
Oh, it's definitely both.
Both.
The answer does not change. The answer is yes. Kiri will.
Oh.
Yes.
But elves don't sleep.
It
Okay,
is
so-
while the other person sleeps. Kiri does not have to be sleeping.
But Kendall's an elf.
Not true.
Oh, so only Juan Carlos.
Uh,
Ouch.
I'll be waiting.
All right, so question for everybody. When presented with a wish spell, what would your character have wished for as a child? And what would they wish for now?
Do you mind repeating the question? I didn't hear the first part.
When presented with the wish spell, or just if you had a wish in general, what would your character have wished for as a child? And what would they wish for now? In this very moment. And anyone can, whenever you have something formulated in your brain, feel free to.
I'll answer for Sura.
Please do.
As a child, it would have been to be special. To find a
Oh.
place that she felt like she could belong, but also kind of to find her place, to find her purpose, to find her gift, so that she could contribute to her society. Now it would be for the safety of the men that she loves.
Oh.
For the record,
Well-
it is canon. Sura is polyamorous. And I'm pretty sure that Atlas is too, but Tony can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, your first wish was kind of like fulfilled.
It was?
So maybe that means the other one will be too.
Maybe. We'll find out, won't we?
All right.
I don't, and I feel like this is not great to say as a player. I don't know a whole lot about Kiri's like young childhood because like currently they're like 200. So that a lot of that has like faded into generalities.
Sure.
But I think when they were younger, Kiri probably would have wished to like be a better spellcaster because everything in the Feywild is like so magical and like pixies and hags and satyrs, and a lot of the Fey get innate spellcasting, and Eladrin don't. So, like, Kiri grew up among the Fey, but they are not themselves Fey. So I kind of think that Kiri probably would have wanted to be more like them or to, like, share in that very spectacular sort of power, even if not for, like, the sake of the power, even just for the sake of, like, it's neat. Like, you know, we were flying around and calling lightning down from the sky. It's rad. Right now, I think it'd definitely be for the queen to get out from wherever she's out of, if she's still alive, and to come out, start making moves, start calling people back.
Ren, Juan Carlos.
Ren, are you ready? Because I only have one answer for one of them, and I'm trying to figure out the other one.
I'll go next. Yeah. Even though I'm not 100% certain, but if I had had a wish spell as a younger kid, I probably would have wished that I felt more comfortable at home and doing what all the other halflings were doing. The Wanderlust. It's the worst. Or close second, I would have wished to meet an elf when I was very little. But now that that's not really a thing, Devereaux these days would probably wish that they could honestly probably partake in some of the elven court, like elven royalty experience, because elves are neat. Dev loves elves. Um, that or find their dad. That would be another thing they might wish for. There's always a backup.
I always have to have a backup plan. Always. I, for one, love how much they love elves. Just throwing that out there. Juan Carlos, were you able to formulate the other half of your response?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I think as a child, Kendall would have wished to have somebody to understand him. But now that he does, and now as a as a brother to Salix, I think his wish, and this is going to be very, very selfish on his part, but he would have wished that his sister didn't bond with her tree before they left the grove. And he would never say that to her, and he feels really guilty about it, but yeah.
Oh, that's real. Well,
I have
Wow.
a follow-up question, if you don't mind.
go for it.
Is there anything that could get your character to, like, narratively, like, right in the minute where we pick back up, that could get your character to just dip out?
That's
Is there
a
anything that
great
they would
question.
find that is just so important that they would just immediately ditch?
That's a great question.
I'm sure
Yeah.
for Salix, it would be her tree and being in trouble.
And that would be the same reason for Kendall, but not because of the tree, but because of his sister. If she said, Willow needs me, yeah, he would go with her.
What about Kiri and Dev?
Kiri's still waiting to be called back home, and I think if they were, they would probably leave with or without their friends.
Oof.
Yeah.
Big oof.
It's kind of a cop out, but I don't think anything would really deter Dev from adventuring or call them away from the adventure, because to them, anywhere besides being back in Featherton is better than being there. Though I suppose if there was an accident back at home with their family, that might call them back out of necessity. But maybe just for the immediate time to address it.
Okay. So I'm gonna lighten the mood, hopefully, a little bit. What kind of books does your character enjoy? Why?
I'll go
do
with
they?
mine because it's pretty easy. Kendall doesn't read a lot. Only
Kind of
if it benefits in learning something he's interested in, which would be I think the library scene at the monastery was kind of one of the only times he's ever really sat down to read anything that wasn't how to hunt or do something specifically. That was his first research. It's because he's interested.
Alex, Ren?
Kiri probably likes, like, romance, poetry,
I was about to
just
say
like literally the exact things one would expect this soft, sad Kiri to like.
Sweet Kiri. I want to date Kiri, I'm not gonna lie.
We all do. Like, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone.
Dev would probably read. Gosh, it's gonna sound so boring, but like autobiographies of famous people, and probably some historical texts, just to learn a bit about the past. Maybe legends or other tales of different cultures as well. They like a good yarn spun from another's perspective.
What about Sarah, Camille?
Sarah reads a lot of romance. She also reads a lot of history.
Historical romance?
Historical romance. She probably writes historical romance, like fan fictions.
That sounds about right.
Romantical history?
Yep. She would
Romantical
probably be the one
history.
to write a love story about Quan Mal and Zandaria.
So check the libraries in the next few coming sessions, y'all. So what is your character's biggest fear? Again, start with anyone, and of course, Camille, feel free to answer on behalf of Sura.
Water.
Death.
Lots of water.
No, not death.
What
Water,
is-
like drowning in it or being.
just like water, seeing it.
Oceans and big lakes and stuff.
I mean,
Deb's not a good swimmer. There's a piece of information for you.
I can relate to that.
Does Dev
I
take
can't
baths?
Please, we just took a bath in the other session.
It's
of
not
course.
a large. That's not a large body of water. Like large as in like you can't see the bottom.
Like that lake
How
we
are
saw
y'all
is-
gonna fight a shark?
Yeah. You
If
know,
Dev is afraid of water.
Yeah, this
I
really
mean-
throws a wrench into our plans, Alex.
I can pepper
well,
it from the shore.
you can do that. That's true. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's better than That's better than what my answer was going to be.
Kiri, what's your character's biggest fear?
As far as biggest fears go, I think it would be very specifically being stuck in the material plane for the rest of their life. There's a real neat quote by Patrick Rothfuss, and I didn't even read the book it's from, and I'm about to butcher it. But the point is that it's one character talking to another, and the character says that people think that Fae and humans are like wolves and dogs, that they are basically the same thing, but just more intense. When actually they're more like water and alcohol. They might look the same, but one burns going down. One will kill you if you drink too much, and they are fundamentally not the same. And I think that Kiri definitely experiences that, even if I, as a human who is not a fairy, has no idea how to really get this across all the time, I think that Kiri would probably acutely sense that people who live in the material plane are not Fae. And that's probably a big adjustment.
Yep.
I don't think this is a big surprise to anybody, but Kendall's biggest fear is ending up alone.
Do you think Kendall could be happy if his sister died, but he found a partner to be with him for the rest of his days?
Wow. I think maybe eventually. I think maybe 100 years down the line, kind of a thing, maybe, but not right away, no.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The implied noted. Okay, so let's just say Fate's Chosen and Sunday Friends have a crossover episode session. Logistically, that would be a time and a half. But what would you want the episode to be about?
I know, but I'm gonna go last.
Wait, was that a question for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I can go first. I asked this question.
Go first, Alex.
For me, I would like it to be like the clusterfuck of all clusterfucks. Like whoever ends up being the biggest, baddest evil in all the planes that exist surrounding Simaria, and just like a full-on 8 or 9 level 20 characters just going at it against like some real big bads.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, just like the biggest, most dramatic D&D that could possibly exist.
Like epic superhero.
Exactly.
Like climactic movie of the whole front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gen Con
Yeah.
2021?
Give me Avengers Endgame in D&D form.
That's
I'm here
exactly what
for
I
it.
was gonna say. I think
Yeah.
an Avengers Endgame type of situation.
Where everybody shows up all sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
My bad.
Plus all of the guests. Gen Con 2021. Plan for it.
Mhm.
Zach says they can all fight Leona since she's the
He's the
BB
true
too.
big bad. Yeah.
We all know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You know, it'd be kind of funny if we all took the Godfall book and said, let's pick a couple bad guys out of here and go get them. And then everyone's just like, yep, let's break into teams who are most suitable for these tasks and just be like, break. And then everyone's like going, doing their shit. And then
So
Kester
you
goes and kills Palar because she's fed up with the shit.
Well, yeah. So you so you have like the start together and then break off into new groups kind of thing?
That'd be fucking cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be fucking cool.
Any thoughts, Juan Carlos, to add to the pot that's clearly brewing in Camille's brain right now?
No, I was thinking the same thing. We'd all get together and team up against. I mean, if I had to guess as a player, this necromancer that's creating some kind of big army or whatever's going on. But if you don't mind, that kind of popped a question in my mind. And for everyone, if you got to use the Godfall book to kill any god, which god would you kill?
For the record, the Godfall book does not... You do not kill a god through the Godfall book. The Godfall book is merely suggestions.
Yeah, but like
It's a tutorial. It's
take
how to
the
kill gods for
suggestions.
dummies.
it's like a YouTube, like it's like
It's like a
how to
YouTube video.
kill the how to kill a god for dummies is a good because it's actually a
I have a question for everybody.
Oh.
Who wrote the Godfall?
Leona.
Y'all stop giving me all my secrets. That's a good question.
I think it was the whispered one. So far, that's my guess. But Kendall hasn't really read the whole book, so I don't know.
Would your answer change if you knew if he was in there or not?
Yes.
Would you like to know?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I do. You message me?
Yep, messaging you now.
I have zero clue. As much as Dev has any idea about the book, I have
Honestly,
zero clue. But I just want to say it's Oreo. It has to be. He's the true enemy.
He's not.
Pat,
that's gonna be Kendall's next. I mean, I guess that's kind of spoilers, but that's what Kendall wants to look at next to see if it's in there.
Is Whispered one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Gosh. Camille, I'm gonna jump back because you didn't actually answer the question.
About the crossover?
Yeah.
I would like to see you all come together to learn the true mystery of the Mad Lich King.
Oh,
Like what makes them so mad?
Yes.
that's an important thing. I think like if we could address that, we could like fix everything.
Yep.
He just needs a friend.
It's true.
Okay, Leona's coming out. All right. So we'll take some more questions from chat. If you guys have any questions, if y'all have any questions, feel free. I have in this question, I am very interested in for no particular reason at all. What do you think you should be called besides Sunday Friends? I need y'all to figure it out, please. For no reason at all.
Fade's chosen. F-A-Y.
Wow, that is incredibly great. I mean, is there any reason to continue? I mean, that was...
Forest fuck-ups from Eris? Oh my god!
Damn, Eris!
Savage.
Wow. I mean, wow.
That hurts. If we knew, we'd have already chosen.
Care Bears kill a god.
I've been really into just...
Devereaux and the pointies. The pointy ears.
Y'all
Care
are too
Bears.
much.
3 elves and a half.
3.5 elves.
But I'm not an elf.
You're a halfling. Geez, I don't know. I've been throwing some funny ones out. Not funny, but like just some dumb ones out during. So I honestly don't have any serious ideas.
Yeah, I don't have any serious ideas. My suggestion is God's Perfect Idiots.
God's perfect idiots. The gatekeepers.
I was gonna say something relating to the plane, since you've got Kiri, who they've, Fae and material plane, and then you've got Kendall, who is a Horizon Walker. So that was...
Ooh, Event Horizon.
Boom. Got in one, Ren.
What?
Yes. Swish.
Accidental heroes. Oops.
Yeah, just oops is a good one.
Oops.
Geez, I don't know. And I've been thinking about it a lot too. I don't know what. Yeah. How long did it take Fate's Chosen to get their name?
Oh,
A long time.
We were, well, that's not true.
So what's
We
with all
had
this
a
pressure, Mindy? What's going on?
We were
Right?
we called ourselves Third
but-
Watch. We were Fourth Watch for a while.
Yeah.
And then we were like, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. We had that for a long time, and then Fate's Chosen was pressure. I'm giving you pressure for reasons.
How about everybody just throw them at us and we'll choose later.
Hey, Kate has a question for us. Very pale ale. If your character got changed into an animal by a sinister spell, as opposed to like a happy spell, what would they be changed into?
Does that mean that has to be a sinister animal?
I don't know. I feel like that qualifying.
Could it be a fantastical animal?
Sure. What is your character's spirit animal?
Have you ever seen a sun bear?
No, but it sounds amazing.
Oh, it's worse. It looks like a bear that was made from wax by a person who has only the vaguest idea of what a bear should look like, and then melted it, and also gave it a tongue that's just disturbingly too long.
That's a beautiful bear.
It is one of the worst animals
Oh my
I
god,
can
I'm in
think
love.
of. A sun bear. That's my answer.
Very pale ale. Appreciated your response.
Hey, my wife just said the thing I was gonna say for Dev. Red pandas. They're like able to do stuff, but they're lazy and adorable. A sloth would be too lazy, but a red panda is like a good in between.
Okay. What, Carlos? What would Kendall?
Jeez. You know what? Probably a hawk.
Oh.
Something free,
See that,
something
yeah.
that's able to go around and travel a lot and see a lot of things.
What about Sura?
Ooh. Owl? Or a horse. Maybe a wolf.
Sure.
Owl horse?
Mindy, there was also a
A
question.
Pegasus. Yeah. So, Camille
Yee.
/ anybody that wants to throw out their 2 cents. Running multiple campaigns in the same game world has to be pretty daunting. How do you plan for multiple groups to go through their own impactful storylines without worrying about things happening in one or the other and messing it up. What advice do you have for DMs hoping to create an immersive world without getting lost in all the details? Potentially conflicting. And I actually have this question because I'll be real, this was a minor concern I had when I found out Sunday Friends was going to be alongside Timeline as Fate's Chosen.
So I think that this question starts on the premise of that first line, running multiple campaigns in the same world has to be pretty daunting. I would say it's the exact opposite. In fact, the reason Sunday Friends started was I was looking for a second and or third player to join. No, I'm sorry, a fourth and or fifth player to join Fate's Chosen. But I ended up with a bunch of people who I really liked, who one couldn't play in Fate's Chosen, cries in Pacific Standard Time, or it didn't seem right. It wasn't the right fit. And that's how Sunday Friends was born. And I remember a lot of people were like, Camille, you put a lot on your own plate. I don't know if this is a good idea for you to run a second campaign. And I've told this group that I also kind of had that fear of like, how am I going to run another campaign along with everything else that I'm doing? Like I have a full-time job. I have like other hobbies that I do. I have a life like a lot of us do. And how was I going to, especially considering how much attention I have to give my campaigns, how much depth I have to give them, how much of my heart and my soul I pour into them. This campaign has been one of the easiest I've ever run. And I don't think that anybody can look through the SS episodes or sessions and say that I've been skimping on attention for these people. And I don't think any of my players would say that they're not getting enough attention or they're not getting enough story. It's because these players and these characters make it so easy, but also because it's in a world that I know so well and that I already have in my heart. It's like having a second child, I would imagine. And not that I have children. But I will say it's not as I think it's not as daunting as you think. I would tell people to give it a try. I think, and another reason is I set myself up for success on this by not being very railroady. And I'll let y'all know, when I first became, I was talking to Callan about this the other night. When I was the first a dungeon master, that was my biggest issue, was I was very railroady. It was about the story I wanted to tell. And I had to give that up a long time ago for the happiness of my players. And now I think it's made me such a better DM that I'm not railroady and I care about my players' agencies. Now how do you plan for multiple groups to go throughout their own impactful storylines without worrying about things or one messing it up? I don't know what to tell. That's a hard question because I don't worry. If anything, I get excited when they think they're going to touch, when I can interweave, especially because a lot of the players in one watch the other. Like, they pay attention in each other's campaigns. And so it's really exciting when, for example, the Fate's Chosen found a halfling a few sessions ago. And I remember in chat, people were like, oh, is this related to Dev? And I'm like, there's 1 billion halflings in this world. So I love getting to weave them together, and I think just having part of it is having the ability to branch out and have stories just go in an unexpected place, and being willing to let your players have a say in what happens. So that means having enough fleshed out where they feel like it's a fully grown world, but also having enough open that your players can contribute and feel like they have a say. I think that's what, after all of this rambling, whatever, that's going to be my final answer is advice that I would give for not letting your details conflict is let your characters carve out parts of the world for themselves. Let your characters feel like they have a home, and then to go out and explore and see if you can make them all from different places, because that helps you build your world. I don't know if y'all noticed, but sometimes my players name my taverns. Sometimes my players name my towns. Give your the town that Dev is from, no one else has been there because Dev, the person, made it up. I'm relying a lot on Alex to come up with Fae lore because their character was in this big war that I had never thought of, and now there's a big war that happened, and that's exciting, and that's really cool. Juan Carlos and Eris completely made up this grove, And that's super cool. Now I have this fully detailed grove that I get to whatever, and none of the other characters even have to go there, but it's there and it's part of these players' stories. Because at the end of the day, this is about for example, when you're at a con and someone comes up to you, they're never going to be like, let me tell you about this campaign. They're going to be like, let me tell you about my character and their story. We're all looking at, aside from me, everybody's looking at this from the lens of their character and what their characters are doing. And so what I want to do is give everybody a place to start, a home, a home base that they get to feel like they came up with, and then room to grow and room to go. And sometimes they're going to overlap. It will happen. Like, for example, Alexander is dealing with the Mad Lich King. So is Sunday Friends. Maybe they might overlap. Maybe they might not. I think that I know I'm going on, but I feel like the main point is to not stress about it so much and to just let it happen and let your players just let them be what they want and get excited about it. I think it comes back to the principle of yes and, of being like, yeah, and also this. And if you can find, my goal for every DM is for them to find a way that they can do that and still be excited about it as well. So that's my very long-winded answer.
Thanks, Camille.
I hope that helped.
We have another question, and it kind of got touched on with Kiri. So, if your characters were not the adventurers they are now, what profession would they have chosen? So would Dev just
Me.
still be at? Go ahead. Yeah.
Me. Dev would be a mediator. Part of what I've written in. Speaking of building lore, and to the extent that this is canonical or not, is something to be further elaborated on. But halflings are good mediators because they are fairly uninvolved in a lot of larger conflicts. So, for my part, I think Dev has a lot of halflings they look up to because they are considered wise and capable of settling conflicts without having to resort to violence. And if they were not currently a fighter, they very well might have decided to take up the role of a mediator.
I think Kendall would have ended up being a type of soldier. In a way to, how do I say it? In a way to get their wanderlust. As a soldier, you get sent away and you get to see new places. And one of the things he's always been good at was fighting. And not always been good at, but something that wasn't being a druid, it was been the martial arts, almost parts of it, of hunting and doing stuff like that. So I think a soldier.
Camille, what was that face for?
I just posted it in chat. I need an alternate universe fanfic where Sura and Kendall meet in the war. Oops.
What's your, and then we're gonna start wrapping up. So let's end with something nice and light. And Camille, you are more than welcome to answer for Sura and Eris. If you want to answer in chat, you by all means, please, for Salix. What is your what is your character's favorite food / drink? Not necessarily meal. Food, drink.
Well, I mean, Kendall's favorite food is bacon,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Wasn't always.
Sure.
Just recently, it was that. And their favorite drink would be honeyed milk. What's that face, Mindy?
I don't know. I mean, that just sounds so homey and warm and nice.
I don't even remember where I feel like I answered this question recently somewhere, and I don't even remember where anymore. But one of Devereaux's favorite foods would be a wonderful glazed ham. And their favorite drink would probably be maybe like a... Well, I mean, they love tea, so probably something warm and complimentary of a ham. It's maybe like a ginger tea or something, but yeah.
I do remember you. I feel like I remember hearing that answer. So maybe it was, I don't know. All right, Alex. What's Kira's favorite food and drink?
Well, if Kiri is anything like me, then we would like red wine and fresh bread. Not at the same time, they're for different occasions, but both are very important.
What about Sarah?
I think anything that reminds her of home. In my mind, Iolan is like, has a Middle Eastern vibe to it, as far as the food goes. So anything like hummus or any kind of chickpea-based dish that is going to be a reminder of home.
Sure. Alex's favorite drink is tea with honey, which,
Duh.
kind of like Kendall's bacon answer. Duh. Does anybody have any last questions before we wrap it up? Any last minute, like, hey DM,
Last chance.
this is your chance. Like,
is your last
ask the
chance.
questions you don't think she's gonna answer, because she might give you something.
Yeah. Who was that porcelain mask that Kendall saw?
Do you really want to know?
Shit, you know me too well. No, I mean I
Okay.
do.
Close your ears. Take your headphones
Take
out.
your headphones up, and don't look at the screen caption.
Don't look at the screen capture.
It's
Just
the
say a lot of stuff immediately after it.
It's the Raven Queen.
It 100% is. Keep talking. Say words. You have to say words.
Things.
Words
Things.
and things.
Stuff.
Keep stuffing.
Cup stuff.
Stephen
My name is
King?
Camille. You can find me on the internet. Camille does D&D. All right. Good.
Wow, there we go.
I would ask questions, but Dev wouldn't remember anything anyway.
Why were you throwing
so
your
I
arms
don't
around
bother.
like that?
We're trying to keep you from seeing the what's it called?
Do artificers exist in my world? Yes, there is one artificer. Because they are not invented yet, or because they are not they're a budding technology. There are no Warforged currently, though. I will say that.
That makes me
Oh.
so sad.
They're
That
in
makes
the.
me really sad.
You'll
too.
know why
Well.
at the end of Fate's Chosen campaign. You'll know why.
Wait, what?
You'll know
Gasp.
why.
Tell me more.
You'll
I don't
know
know.
why at the end of Fate's Chosen campaign why there aren't any Warforged yet.
Hey, I don't know if this is a question for Camille or Ren, but who is S?
Haha!
Is that a question for Camille?
Yeah, Ren, who is this?
Oh.
There are shifters and changelings.
I actually don't know yet.
Oh.
Is there an end to the Fate's Chosen campaign? There's an end to every campaign, y'all.
Yeah, it ends with TPK.
Tomorrow, actually. Join us tomorrow for the end of Fate's Chosen.
Yes. I don't have to work tomorrow. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh,
We catch the
gosh.
whole thing.
I can see the Fate's Chosen campaign ending in about a year and a half. Maybe next Gen Con will be the finale.
Oh, wow.
You're making Mindy cry.
Not hard.
Not hard.
Yeah.
Was the Godfall book always meant to be for the Sunday, or the Sunday Friends always meant to find the
No,
Godfall
no.
book?
I made that up on the spot.
Shit.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Just like that, huh?
I made that up on the spot. Yep.
Can't wait to find that necromancer again and punch him in the face.
Azakai the Dark Master?
Azarkar the Dark
Azarkai
Master.
the Dark Master.
Well, you met his nephew.
Yeah, we found the budget version.
We have a lot of budget versions around here, don't we?
That's specifically who I want to punch in the face,
Yeah, fair.
not the actual Dark Master.
I do have a question though.
Okay.
for us, if we had to play someone else's character, who do you think you could do best?
It's a good question.
Ooh.
Who do you think you could do?
I'll ask that you or Face Chosen as well.
Dev. I think I could play Dev.
I can see that. Ren.
Out of this group, probably Kendall. Let's just do a swap.
There it is.
Alex?
In this group, Salix from Fate's Chosen, Alexander.
Oh.
Oh, we're doing Fate's Chosen too?
Oh.
I had this idea, so I put thought into this.
Ren, who would
Don't
you
ask
play
me
out of
why.
Fate's Chosen?
I could be Kesra.
Yeah! Well, Carlos, who would you play out of Fate's Chosen?
I think I would. I don't know if I could do it very well, but I would love to play Leona.
You'd be wonderful.
That'd be a good challenge. I think I would have a lot of fun doing that.
Mindy?
Oh goodness. Who I think I would be best at trying to play, or who I would enjoy playing?
Both.
Both. Some combination of that. Some balance of that. Fate's Chosen would probably be Kesra. It would be nice to just be able to be quiet and brooding and
A bitch.
annoyed. I didn't say that.
Yeah, the DM did.
But the you
Everybody
know,
else is
having the
thinking it.
like mumbled under the breath comments, I feel like some of like the frustration I carry as a teacher could come out a little bit.
What about in Sunday Friends?
Sunday Friends, See, part of my initial instinct was Dev, but I think maybe Kiri.
I could see you doing both.
I don't know. Let's just play roulette and we'll play everybody. Because that's
Oh, that would be the best crossover episode.
That's a
Literally
thing
just
we-
do a character roulette.
Lordy. All right. So we are going to wrap this up. Thank you all so much for being so thoughtful with your responses. Thank you, chat, and wonderful O for A Bays for providing us with some really great questions. Got some really good stuff.
There's a
Got
lot more on Patreon.
Got a lot of feelings. Yeah, definitely check out our. I'm assuming you are plugging
All those,
that.
right? All the Sunday Friends interviews are out, right?
Yes, they are.
They are. Yep. Because the only people that are struggling are me. Kate, it's fine. So yeah, we will. Eris, we love you. We love Eris. We're sad she couldn't be here, but we're glad that we got to do this. Our very first fourth watch with Sunday Friends.
Mindy, thank you so much for hosting.
Oh, sure. So let's quickly go around, sign off, plug anything you want to plug. And yeah. Oh, I'm Mindy. You can find me on Twitter, MKY1713. I play on Fate's Chosen here on Over A. I will be playing so tomorrow at 6:30 Central. I always want to say my time. We're hopefully not going to TPK. Who knows?
Hi, I'm Ren. You can find me on Twitter at Thorny Dryad. That's like a prickly bush, just like it's under my wonderful face right here. There. I play Devereaux Thistlebrook on Sunday Friends when we do the campaign. Tonight I liked answering questions. That was fun. Dev's got a lot going on for them that nobody knows yet. And then other projects I'm working on. Ooh, clap. I am part of a podcast called Roads Uncharted, which should be launching in March. That's next month. Man, the time flies by. When that drops, keep an eye open for it. I'll probably be slapping links to it in places where I frequent. So thanks, y'all, for watching.
Well, Carlos.
Hi. What do you get when you cross a sombrero with a bear? It's a sombrero. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Camille's podcast guy. So keep an eye out for something along the lines in the future. For A.
Legitimately, every time I'm like, I'm a podcast guy. Well, Carlos is my podcast guy. I'm Camille. I am the usually the host. I'm not the host tonight. I'm the dungeon master here for Samaria on Fate's Chosen, and you can find me on Twitter at CamilleDoesDND. You can also find the channel on Twitter at Open4 Adventure. Special shout out to our sponsors. Campaign coins are amazing. Extra special spout out. Wow. To our warm fuzzies, Callan. Woo, 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 woo. Bel Travis. Oh, gosh. And Fellowship of the Tables, Andrew. Thank y'all so much for being... I almost released your full name on the internet. I'm sorry. For so much for being warm fuzzy patrons. We love you dearly. Thank you so much for supporting us. Y'all have a great day.
Alex, do you want
Did Alex get a yes?
Oh, wow. No, I'm so sorry. Oh, wow. This is why
It's all good.
I'm done. All right, bye.
Hi, I'm Alex. You can find me on Twitter, @AxelLevelCure. This is the only thing I'm doing right now. At the moment, is playing on Sunday Friends. But over the summer, I should have more free time, and hopefully that will mean I will be able to put together a brand new game, Open for Adventure. But we'll see how that goes later on in the summer. And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
All right, friends, thank you so much for coming out to join us today. I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.